Chapter 1. The Power of Thought. The Man Who Thinks He Can. Napoleon Hill begins Think and Grow Rich by revealing one of life's greatest truths. Everything begins with a thought. Every success, invention, fortune, or achievement started as a simple idea in someone's mind. Hill says, "Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that." This first chapter sets the foundation of the entire book. It's not just about getting rich with money, but about developing the mental power to turn your desires into reality. Hill learned this lesson after interviewing over 500 of the most successful people of his time, including Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. 1. The secret Carnegie shared. The story begins when Hill, as a young journalist, was sent to interview Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate and one of the richest men in the world. Carnegie believed success could be taught, that there was a secret formula that all successful people used, knowingly or unknowingly. Carnegie challenged Hill to dedicate 20 years of his life to studying the most successful men and women, uncover their success principles, and share them with the world. Hill accepted, and that mission became Think and Grow Rich. 2. The birth of the idea. Hill says that riches begin in the form of thought. The only limitation a person has is the one they set in their own mind. If you can think clearly, desire strongly, and believe deeply, you can achieve anything. Every great invention, the airplane, the light bulb, the telephone, started as a mental picture in someone's imagination. Edison had the thought of light before he created the bulb. The Wright brothers imagined flight before they built an airplane. This is why Hill emphasizes, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. 3. Edwin C. Barnes, the man who knew what he wanted. To prove his point, Hill tells the inspiring story of Edwin C. Barnes. Barnes had one burning desire: to become a business partner of Thomas Edison. Not an employee, a partner. But Barnes had no money, no education, and no connections. What he did have was a clear vision. He believed so strongly in his dream that he took a train to Edison's office and declared he wanted to work with him. Edison saw something special in his determination and gave him a chance, not as a partner, but as a worker. For months, Barnes did ordinary jobs, but he never gave up his goal. One day, Edison launched a new machine, and Barnes saw an opportunity. He offered to sell it, and his success was so great that Edison made him his business partner. Hill calls this story the first concrete proof that a burning desire combined with belief can turn a dream into reality. 4. Desire turns thoughts into gold. Hill explains that thoughts alone are not enough. You must have desire, a deep, burning obsession to make them real. Desire gives your thoughts life and energy. It transforms ordinary wishes into plans, and plans into action. Barnes succeeded not because he wanted to work with Edison, but because he was determined that he would. The starting point of all achievement is desire. This is the core message of Chapter 1. Your mind, when fueled by strong desire, becomes a magnet for opportunities, people, and ideas that can make your dream come true. 5. Failure is temporary. Hill warns readers not to fear failure. Every failure carries a lesson. Most people quit when they face temporary defeat, but successful people see defeat as a stepping stone. Barnes could have given up when he didn't get the partnership right away, but he didn't. He persisted until the world had no choice but to give him what he wanted. 6. The law of attraction before its time. Long before the term law of attraction became popular, Hill was already teaching it. He believed your dominant thoughts attract similar energies and events into your life. If you constantly think of poverty, fear, or failure, you'll attract more of that. But if your mind is filled with success, faith, and determination, those will come to you. He writes, "Every person is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which he permits to occupy his mind." So, control your thoughts, and you control your destiny. 7. The power of definitive purpose. Hill says the greatest weakness of most people is lack of a definite purpose. They drift through life without a clear goal, easily influenced by circumstances. But successful people, on the other hand, have a definite major purpose, a goal so clear that it drives their every action. When your goal is definite and backed by belief, your subconscious mind begins to work like a magnet, pulling people and opportunities that help you succeed. 8. The foundation of success. By the end of this chapter, Hill leaves readers with this timeless truth. When you truly believe you can achieve something, when that belief is backed by desire and persistence, the universe begins to move in your favor. Every great success story begins in the mind. Thoughts are invisible, but they are the seeds of reality. Guard your mind carefully. Fill it with purpose and faith, and you'll begin the process of thinking and growing rich. Key takeaways from Chapter 1. Thoughts are the foundation of all success. Desire plus belief equals the first step towards riches. Temporary failure is not permanent defeat. A definite purpose gives life direction. You become what you think about most of the time.
Chapter 2. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill begins this chapter with a clear declaration. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire gives a small amount of heat. Desire, according to Hill, is the seed from which all success grows. Everything great that has ever been accomplished started with one simple thing: someone's burning desire to make it real. This chapter transforms the vague wish for success into a definite, burning obsession. Hill explains how to turn that desire into reality through a precise, step-by-step process. 1. The power of a burning desire. Hill tells us that success is never achieved by accident. You must want something so intensely that it becomes an obsession, a burning inner fire that pushes you to act no matter what obstacles come your way. Most people only wish for success. They say things like, "I'd like to be rich," or "I want to be successful someday." But those are just casual wishes. They vanish when life gets hard. Only a definite, burning desire can survive the trials, rejections, and failures that life throws at you. Hill emphasizes that desire must become your dominant thought, something that occupies your mind day and night, leaving no room for doubt or retreat. 2. The story of Edwin C. Barnes, revisited. Hill again refers to the story of Edwin C. Barnes, the man who dreamed of becoming Edison's business associate. When Edwin Barnes first thought about working with Edison, it was only an idea. But he turned that thought into a burning desire so strong that he risked everything to pursue it. He didn't have money or influence, but he had determination and faith. He didn't say, "I'll try." He said, "I will." And that's what made all the difference. Hill uses Barnes's story as a living example that a definite desire, backed by persistence and faith, can overcome any limitation. 6 steps to turn desire into reality. This is one of the most practical and powerful sections in the entire book. Napoleon Hill gives 6 concrete steps to turn your desire for riches into tangible results. Here they are. Step 1. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Don't say, "I want lots of money." Be specific. Decide exactly how much you want and write it down. Step 2. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such thing as something for nothing. You must decide what value, service, or work you will provide in exchange. Step 3. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Set a clear deadline. A dream without a deadline remains a fantasy. Step 4. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Step 5. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, what you intend to give in return, and the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Step 6. Read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning.
Chapter 3. Faith, Visualization and Belief in the Attainment of Desire. Faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to infinite intelligence. Napoleon Hill calls faith the magic ingredient that transforms your desires into reality. Without faith, your dreams remain just dreams, lifeless and powerless. With faith, even the impossible starts to bend in your favor. Excellence. 1. Faith is a state of mind you can create. Faith is not something you're born with. It's something you build through repetition and self-suggestion. Hill explains that faith grows by constantly feeding your mind with positive thoughts, affirmations, and confidence in yourself. When you repeatedly tell yourself that you can achieve your goal, your subconscious mind begins to believe it. And once your subconscious accepts it as truth, your actions automatically align with that belief. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind. So you are the creator of your own faith through the thoughts you allow and the words you repeat daily. 2. The power of belief. Hill says the greatest discoveries and successes in history were first born in someone's imagination, but they became reality only because that person believed in them. Faith turns belief into certainty. People like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie all had one thing in common. They believed they could do it long before there was any proof. Faith gives you the power to move forward even when everything seems impossible. It replaces fear with confidence, doubt with determination. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. 3. The connection between faith and desire. Your desire is the starting point of all achievement, but desire alone is not enough. It needs the energy of faith to come alive. Faith gives your desire strength, persistence, and direction.
It is what makes you say, "I will do it," no matter how long it takes. When your desire and faith mix together, they create a burning obsession that no obstacle can destroy. 4. Autosuggestion, the tool to build faith. Faith doesn't grow automatically. It's developed through a process Hill calls autosuggestion, the practice of repeating positive statements to yourself daily. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between truth and imagination. It simply believes whatever you feed it repeatedly. For example, if you tell yourself every day, "I am confident, I am capable, I am destined for success," your subconscious mind accepts this as reality. Soon, you begin to act, feel, and attract success naturally. That's how faith is created, through constant positive reinforcement. Repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of developing faith voluntarily. 5. Fear, the enemy of faith. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same mind. When you let fear dominate your thoughts, it kills your belief and blocks your progress. Hill identifies 6 basic fears that hold people back. 1. Fear of poverty. 2. Fear of criticism. 3. Fear of ill health. 4. Fear of loss of love. 5. Fear of old age. 6. Fear of death. Every successful person learns to face and control these fears. You don't need to eliminate fear completely. You just need to act in spite of it. Faith and fear make poor bedfellows. When one is in, the other must go. 6. How to develop faith step by step. Here's Napoleon Hill's simple process to strengthen your faith. 1. Decide clearly what you want. Write it down in detail. Be specific. 2. Repeat it aloud every day. Say it with emotion, energy, and confidence. 3. Visualize yourself already achieving it. Feel the success as if it's already yours. 4. Eliminate negative thoughts immediately. Don't let doubt or fear enter your mind. 5. Surround yourself with positive influences, people, books, and environments that build belief. When you practice this daily, faith grows naturally, and with it, your results. 7. The role of subconscious mind in faith. Hill says your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. It grows whatever seeds you plant. If you plant seeds of fear, you'll harvest failure. If you plant seeds of faith, you'll harvest success. Every word, emotion, and thought you allow shapes your subconscious programming. That's why Hill insists on constant positive self-talk and visualization, because your subconscious is always listening. The emotions of faith, love, and sex are the most powerful of all the major positive motions. Faith combined with emotion creates a magnetic force that attracts opportunities, people, and circumstances aligned with your goal. 9. Examples of faith in action. Hill gives real-life examples. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the electric light bulb, but he had unshakable faith in his idea. Henry Ford faced mockery when he said he'd build a car for the average man, but his belief created the automobile revolution. Mahatma Gandhi demonstrated faith of the highest order. He led millions to freedom without violence, driven purely by belief. Their success wasn't luck or talent. It was faith in their purpose. 10. The science of faith. Hill explains faith in scientific terms, too. Faith activates the subconscious mind, which then connects with infinite intelligence, the universal source of ideas, inspiration, and power. When your mind vibrates with faith, It attracts similar vibrations, opportunities, people, and ideas that help you achieve your goal. This is the law of attraction in its truest, most practical form. The final truth: you become what you believe. Everything in your life right now, your income, confidence, and success, reflects what you believe you deserve. Change your belief, and your entire reality changes. Faith gives you the courage to dream, the discipline to act, and the persistence to continue until success becomes inevitable. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Key takeaways. Faith is a state of mind that you can create through repetition and belief. Desire plus faith equals power. Fear destroys faith. Replace it with confidence and positive thoughts. Use daily affirmations to feed faith into your subconscious mind. You attract what you believe, not what you merely wish for.
Introduction, Chapter 4. Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Through the principle of autosuggestion, any individual can rise to altitudes beyond limitation. Napoleon Hill calls autosuggestion the bridge between the conscious mind, what you think, and the subconscious mind, what you believe and act upon. It's the method by which you convince your inner self of what you truly desire, until your subconscious starts to act automatically toward that goal. Autosuggestion is not just positive thinking. It's a deliberate mental process of feeding your subconscious the thoughts that align with your goals, over and over, until they take root. Section 1. What is autosuggestion? Autosuggestion simply means self-suggestion, the practice of planting specific ideas, emotions, and beliefs in your own mind through repetition, emotion, and imagination. Your subconscious mind accepts and acts upon whatever it is told repeatedly, whether it's positive or negative. So, if you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious believes it and makes it true. But if you say, "I'm successful and capable," it also believes that and begins to align your behavior accordingly. Quote, "Every thought, plan, or purpose which is held in the mind and backed by emotion will reach the subconscious mind and influence it." Unquote. Section 2. The link between autosuggestion, desire, and faith. Hill reminds us that desire is the starting point of all achievement, and faith is what turns that desire into belief. Autosuggestion is the tool that connects these two. It feeds faith into the subconscious mind. When you repeatedly visualize and affirm your goals, your subconscious begins to accept them as reality. And once your subconscious accepts something as real, it mobilizes every resource, emotion, and action to make it happen. This is how faith is created. You don't wait for belief, you build it through autosuggestion. Section 3. The 6-step method in action. In Chapter 2, Desire, Hill gave 6 practical steps for turning desire into reality. In this chapter, he explains how to use autosuggestion to emotionally charge those steps. Here's how to practice it daily. 1. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. 2. Read your written statement of desire aloud twice daily, once before sleeping, once after waking. 3. As you read, visualize the achievement of your goal. See, feel, and believe it as real. 4. Feel gratitude and excitement as if it has already happened. 5. Repeat this every single day until your subconscious accepts it as fact. Quote, "When you read aloud your statement of desire, see and feel yourself already in possession of the money or goal." Unquote. Hill emphasizes that this is not a ritual, it's a form of mental programming. You are training your subconscious to believe in the inevitable success of your goal. Section 4. Why emotion matters. Words alone don't impress the subconscious mind. Emotion does. If you read your goals mechanically, without feeling, it has little effect. But when you read with belief, passion, and excitement, it imprints deeply on your subconscious. Quote, "Plain, emotionless words do not influence the subconscious mind. You must mix emotion or feeling with your words." Unquote. That's why autosuggestion works best when it's filled with strong emotions, enthusiasm, faith, love, or even desperation. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic, it responds to vibration. And emotion is the fuel that gives those vibrations power. Section 5. The subconscious mind, your invisible partner. The subconscious mind works 24 hours a day. It never sleeps. It's the engine that controls habits, creativity, and your automatic responses. Whatever thought you give to it, whether fear or faith, it translates into physical reality. This is why Hill says it's critical to guard your mind from negative influences, doubts, or fears. Quote, "Your subconscious mind will translate into its physical equivalent any thought that is mixed with belief and repeated often enough." Unquote. In short, feed it positive thoughts, and you'll build faith and success. Feed it negative thoughts, and you'll build fear and failure. You always have a choice about which one you program. Section 6. Negative autosuggestion, the silent enemy. Hill warns that most people use autosuggestion against themselves without realizing it. Every time you think, "I can't do this," "I'll never be rich," "I'm unlucky," you're practicing negative autosuggestion, planting destructive beliefs in your subconscious. And your subconscious, being obedient, makes them true. That's why controlling your thoughts and words is not optional, it's vital. Quote, "You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because you have the power to influence your own subconscious mind." Unquote. Section 7. Repetition creates belief. Hill explains that belief doesn't appear instantly. It's built through repetition. Every repetition of your goal statement, every visualization of your success strengthens the mental image. And once that image becomes fixed, it becomes a command to your subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't argue, it obeys. So the more you repeat your vision, the faster it becomes your dominant thought. And dominant thoughts attract their physical equivalent. Quote, "Repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntarily developing faith." Unquote. Section 8. Practical daily autosuggestion routine. Hill suggests a very practical routine that anyone can follow. 1. Morning. Read your written statement of desire aloud. Feel gratitude as if it's already done. 2. Throughout the day, guard your thoughts. Replace every doubt with confidence. 3. Night. Visualize your success again before sleep. Let your subconscious work overnight. 4. Weekly. Rewrite or refine your goal statement to keep it fresh and emotional. Over time, this constant mental discipline shapes your personality, confidence, and results. You literally think yourself into success. Section 9. The power of imagination in autosuggestion. Autosuggestion works best when paired with imagination. When you imagine yourself living your dream, hearing, seeing, and feeling it vividly, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. That's why visualization is such a powerful part of the process. The more realistic your mental picture, the stronger your subconscious programming becomes. Section 10. The Essence of Autosuggestion. Hill sums up this chapter with one central truth. You can become anything you desire if you convince your subconscious mind that you can and will achieve it. Autosuggestion is the mechanism of self-mastery, a way to take control of your thoughts, emotions, and destiny. It turns fleeting wishes into solid beliefs, and beliefs into actions that bring results. Key takeaways. Autosuggestion is the method of influencing your subconscious mind through repetition and emotion. You must visualize and feel your goals as already achieved. The subconscious responds only to emotionally charged thoughts. Avoid negative autosuggestion. Never speak or think failure. Practice daily affirmations to turn faith into habit and desire into reality.
Chapter 5. Specialized Knowledge. Personal Experiences or Observations. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when and if it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Napoleon Hill begins this chapter with a bold statement. Education alone does not guarantee success. There are countless educated people who struggle financially, not because they lack intelligence, but because they never learned how to use their knowledge in a purposeful and practical way. Hill makes it clear. Success comes not from general knowledge, but from specialized knowledge intelligently applied. Hill divides knowledge into two categories. 1. General knowledge. It's found in schools, libraries, and universities. It covers a wide range of subjects but lacks focus. It's useful for personal growth, but rarely leads to wealth. 2. Specialized knowledge. It's focused and applied to a specific purpose. It is used by individuals who know how to make their skill or understanding produce results. This is the knowledge that builds fortunes. Hill explains that specialized knowledge is not limited to one's own expertise. You can organize, direct, or hire others who possess the knowledge you need. That's exactly what successful business leaders do. An educated person is not necessarily one who has an abundance of general or specialized knowledge, but one who can develop the faculties of their mind to acquire anything they want or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. Why general knowledge is not enough. Hill gives the example of university professors and scholars who may know everything about a subject, but their knowledge is not organized towards making money or achieving a specific goal. They often work under people who have less education but more practical direction. The difference between a struggling genius and a successful entrepreneur is organization and purpose. Knowledge, no matter how vast, is useless until you apply it towards a definite goal. Knowledge is potential power, but it becomes real power only when put into action. How to acquire specialized knowledge. Hill gives several practical ways to acquire specialized knowledge, no matter who you are or where you start. 1. Personal experience and education. Learn by doing, observing, and experimenting. 2. Experience and research of others. Study successful people in your field. 3. Training and courses. Attend lectures, workshops, or online programs related to your goal. 4. Mastermind alliance. Surround yourself with people who already have the knowledge you need. Hill emphasizes that you don't need to know everything yourself. You just need access to those who do. The secret is to organize other people's specialized knowledge into your plans. That's how business magnates and leaders operate. They build teams of experts who turn ideas into reality. The role of imagination in using knowledge. Hill ties this idea to the next principle, imagination. He says that imagination gives life to knowledge. You can have all the specialized knowledge in the world, but unless you combine it creatively, it remains dormant. Knowledge is the material, imagination is the architect. Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. Your imagination decides how to use the knowledge you have or have access to achieve success. The value of continuous learning. Hill reminds us that learning never ends. Formal education gives you a foundation, but self-education gives you power. Every successful person is a lifelong learner. They read books, attend seminars, seek mentors, and constantly update their skills to stay ahead. He gives the example of Henry Ford, who had little formal education, yet Ford surrounded himself with specialists and experts in engineering, business, and management. When a newspaper mocked him as ignorant, Ford proved that he could summon any piece of information by simply calling one of his experts. Ford didn't need to know everything. He only needed to know where to find the right knowledge and how to use it. Any man is educated who knows where to get knowledge when he needs it and how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action. Organizing specialized knowledge for profit. Hill emphasizes that merely having knowledge won't make you rich. You must organize it into a plan of action aimed at achieving a definite goal. For instance, a doctor who applies medical knowledge to build a hospital empire. An engineer who designs a product and sells it globally. A content creator who uses psychology and marketing knowledge to grow a brand. Each of them turns specialized knowledge into organized, directed effort. That's what transforms ideas into money. The successful man knows how to make his knowledge work for him. The importance of mastermind groups. Hill reintroduces the concept of the mastermind alliance, a network of people who pool their specialized knowledge together for mutual success. No one becomes great alone. The most successful individuals in business, science, and invention all relied on teams of experts. The combined knowledge, energy, and creativity of a group produce far more than any one person could alone. This is the power of collective specialized knowledge. The need for action. Knowledge without action leads nowhere. Many people read countless books, attend seminars, or collect information, but never apply it. Hill warns that the man who cannot use knowledge is no better off than the man who is ignorant. To turn knowledge into power, you must decide clearly what you want, acquire the specific knowledge required to achieve it, organize and apply that knowledge through a definite plan, persist until you succeed. Action is the real measure of intelligence. Knowledge in the modern world. Even though Hill wrote this book in the early 20th century, his advice applies perfectly today. We live in an age of information. Anyone can access unlimited knowledge through the internet. But most people are drowning in general knowledge, not using it to build results. True success now, as in Hill's time, belongs to those who can focus, filter, and use specialized knowledge strategically. The final message is to turn knowledge into power. Hill ends this chapter with a simple truth. The man who stops studying simply because he has finished school is forever doomed to mediocrity. Learning, improving, and organizing specialized knowledge into action is the foundation of success. The world rewards results, not information. Knowledge is only valuable when it's applied with imagination, persistence, and purpose.
Chapter 6. Imagination, the Workshop of the Mind. The imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man. Napoleon Hill calls imagination the mind's workshop, the creative force that turns thoughts, desires, and knowledge into real-world achievements. Everything that exists in the material world, from buildings to businesses, from inventions to fortunes, began as an idea in someone's imagination. Imagination is the bridge between desire and success, and it is through this faculty that we give shape, direction, and life to our dreams. FAME 1. Two forms of imagination. Hill divides imagination into two distinct forms. Factor 2. Synthetic imagination. Rearranges old ideas, concepts, or plans into new combinations. It doesn't create anything new. It refines and improves what already exists. This type is used by most successful entrepreneurs, inventors, and creators. For example, Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile. He reorganized existing ideas of the engine, wheel, and carriage into a practical, affordable car for the masses. 2. Creative imagination. It works through inspiration, intuition, and emotion. It's the receiving station of the mind through which new ideas, flashes of insight, or hunches arrive from infinite intelligence, the universal source of ideas. Great inventors, artists, and leaders often receive their biggest breakthroughs through this channel. Hill says creative imagination is most active when your mind is filled with faith, desire, and emotional energy. The ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. Ideas are products of the imagination. 2. Where all success begins, an idea. Every great success, fortune, and discovery began with a single idea. But most people underestimate the value of ideas. They chase money instead of developing their imagination. Hill teaches that money always follows ideas, not the other way around. Your mind, properly directed, is your greatest asset. The greatest fortunes were built by people who learned to use imagination to solve problems, create value, and serve others. Man's only limitation, within reason, lies in his development and use of his imagination. 3. How imagination turns desire into reality. Imagination is the mental workshop where your desire takes form. When you have a burning desire to achieve something, your imagination begins to form a plan or strategy to make it happen. That plan, when organized and acted upon, becomes your road to success. But it begins as a vision in your mind. If you can hold that vision, feel it, and refine it every day, it gradually attracts the people, opportunities, and ideas needed to bring it to life. Hill emphasizes, desire provides the motivation. Imagination provides the method. Together, they form the creative foundation of achievement. 4. The story of chickens that lay golden eggs. Hill shares examples of how imagination transformed ordinary people into millionaires. One striking example is that of a man who turned a simple idea, packaged breakfast cereals, into an empire. He wasn't the only one selling grain, but his imagination led him to present it in a new way that appealed to the public. The lesson: wealth comes not from doing something completely new, but from doing something old in a new and better way. 5. The imagination must be used constantly. Hill says imagination is like a muscle. It becomes weak if you don't use it. Most people stop using their imagination after school. They live by routine, habit, and fear, never daring to think creatively. But those who deliberately train their minds to create and visualize ideas become leaders in every field. The imaginative faculty functions best when the mind is vibrating at an exceedingly high rate as that of a strong desire. To strengthen your imagination, keep feeding your mind new information and experiences. Ask what-if questions. Look for new combinations of old ideas. Visualize yourself solving problems creatively. 6. Building wealth through imagination. Hill stresses that every business, no matter how big or small, started as an idea. An idea alone isn't enough, but an idea backed by faith, desire, and persistence becomes a powerful force. He gives the example of Thomas Edison and the invention of the light bulb. Edison's imagination gave birth to an idea that changed the world. But he succeeded because he turned that idea into an organized plan and acted on it persistently. Similarly, Henry Ford's imagination led to mass production. Andrew Carnegie's imagination built steel empires. And Wright brothers' imagination conquered the skies. Ideas are intangible forces, but they have the power to move the world. 7. How to use imagination in business and life. Hill provides a clear formula for using imagination to achieve success. 1. Start with a clear desire. Know exactly what you want. The stronger your desire, the more creative power you awaken. 2. Visualize your goal clearly. See it in your mind, the details, the emotions, the outcomes. 3. Transform your vision into a plan. Write it down, organize it, and decide how to begin. 4. Take action and adjust through imagination. Keep refining your plan as new ideas emerge. 5. Keep your imagination charged with emotion. Faith, love, enthusiasm, and persistence fuel creativity. By combining desire, faith, and imagination, you tap into the same creative energy that has built every fortune and invention in history. 8. The power of brainstorming and mastermind alliances. Hill connects imagination to the mastermind principle again. When two or more people come together to brainstorm with a common purpose, their combined imagination produces ideas that no single person could create alone. This is the power of collective imagination, a meeting of minds that multiplies creativity and vision. No individual has ever achieved lasting success without applying the principle of imagination in one form or another. 9. How to protect your ideas. Hill warns that ideas are fragile when they're first born. They need care, protection, and persistence. Do not share your plans too early with people who might discourage you or criticize your dream. Many ideas die because they are exposed to doubt before they have the strength to survive. Instead, nurture your vision quietly until it becomes strong enough to stand on its own. Do not let anyone kill your dreams through ridicule or disbelief. 10. The final message: the mind is a creator. Hill concludes the chapter by reminding us that our thoughts are creative forces. Whatever you can imagine, backed by faith and desire, can eventually become real. Every achievement starts in the mind, and imagination is the tool that gives thought its form and power. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Key takeaways: imagination is the workshop of your mind, where ideas are born and shaped. There are two types: synthetic, reorganizing old ideas, and creative, receiving new ones. Desire and imagination must work together. One fuels the other. Constantly use, train, and stretch your imagination. Protect new ideas until they are strong enough to act upon. Every great fortune, invention, or success began as an idea in someone's mind. Imagination is the workshop of your mind.
Chapter 7.
Organized planning, the crystallization of desire into action. You must have a plan, and that plan must be put into action. Napoleon Hill begins this chapter with a hard truth. No matter how strong your desire, faith, or imagination are, without a plan of action, you will never achieve your goal. This chapter transforms your dream into a roadmap and your desire into results. It's where thinking ends and doing begins. Number 1. From desire to concrete plans. Hill explains that success doesn't happen by accident. You must have a definite purpose and a definite plan for achieving it. Even if your first plan fails, it doesn't matter. Failure means only that your plan was not sound. Replace it with a better one. Quote, "Temporary defeat is not failure. It simply means your plan was not sound. Rebuild your plans and set sail once more toward your desired goal." He emphasizes that persistence is the key. Successful people never quit when a plan fails. They modify the plan, not the goal. Number 2, the importance of planning with others, the mastermind group. Hill reintroduces the mastermind principle, a core theme throughout the book. You must ally yourself with a group of intelligent, like-minded people who can help you plan and act. This group should be sympathetic to your purpose, emotionally in harmony with you, and committed to helping each other succeed. Quote, "No one has ever become rich without first taking others into his confidence." Your mastermind group acts as a source of knowledge, inspiration, and accountability, multiplying your imagination and decision-making power. Number 3, how to build your mastermind team. Hill gives clear, actionable steps. 1. Choose people with the experience or qualities you lack. 2. Decide on clear rewards for everyone's contribution: money, knowledge, or opportunity. 3. Meet regularly, ideally once a week. 4. Maintain harmony. The spirit of cooperation must be real. He warns, jealousy, ego, or distrust will destroy the alliance quickly. Quote, "You can accomplish more in 1 year with a mastermind group than in a lifetime of solitary effort." Number 4, leadership and the 2 types of leaders. Hill divides leadership into 2 kinds. 1. The leadership of power, built on authority, fear, and command. This type often fails in the long run because people only obey under pressure. 2. The leadership of cooperation, built on respect, understanding, and shared purpose. This type creates loyalty, inspiration, and sustainable success. The true leader inspires others to act willingly, not because they are forced, but because they believe. Quote, "The successful leader must plan his work and work his plan." Number 5, the 11 major attributes of leadership. Hill lists 11 essential traits every effective leader must develop. 1. Unwavering courage, based on self-knowledge and belief. 2. Self-control. A leader must control himself before leading others. 3. A keen sense of justice. Fairness builds trust. 4. Definiteness of decision. Indecision breeds failure. 5. Definiteness of plans. Successful leaders make detailed plans and follow them. 6. The habit of doing more than paid for. Go beyond expectations. 7. A pleasing personality. Attitude and tone matter as much as skill. 8. Sympathy and understanding. Know your team's needs and perspectives. 9. Mastery of detail.
Know every important aspect of your business or mission. 10. Willingness to assume full responsibility. Never blame others. 11. Cooperation. Leadership is teamwork, not dictatorship. Quote, "No leader who cannot work in harmony with others cannot remain a leader long." Number 6. The major causes of leadership failure. Hill also identifies the 10 biggest reasons leaders fail, serving as warning signs for anyone seeking success. 1. Inability to organize details. 2. Unwillingness to perform humble duties. 3. Expecting pay for what you know instead of what you do. 4. Fear of competition. 5. Lack of imagination. 6. Selfishness. 7. Intemperance. Lack of control over habits or emotions. 8. Disloyalty. 9. Emphasis on authority rather than cooperation. 10. Lack of empathy and understanding. Each of these traits, Hill warns, can destroy even the most talented person's career. Number 7. The value of taking initiative. Hill insists that opportunities often appear in disguise, as temporary defeat or even misfortune. A great leader is one who recognizes opportunity where others see failure. The person who goes the extra mile, works with enthusiasm, and takes initiative, even without being asked, soon becomes indispensable. Quote, "The world makes way for the man who knows where he's going." Number 8. How to sell your personal services. Hill gives practical advice for employees, entrepreneurs, and anyone who wants to earn more. You must learn to sell your services effectively. This doesn't just mean marketing. It means showing your value through results. To do this, 1. Improve your skills constantly. 2. Develop a pleasing personality. 3. Take initiative and responsibility. 4. Build a reputation for reliability and creativity. He calls this personal branding before the term existed. Quote, "If you cannot sell yourself, you cannot sell anything else." Number 9. Planning for self-employment. Hill encourages readers to consider becoming self-reliant, not necessarily quitting jobs immediately, but learning to create value that isn't dependent on one employer. He explains that the most successful people are those who think independently and build something that helps others. The habit of planning your own career, instead of waiting for someone else to plan it for you, is the foundation of wealth. Number 10. The 6 most effective steps for organized planning. Hill's formula for success through planning is 1. Form a definite purpose. 2. Create a definite plan. 3. Put the plan into action immediately. 4. If your first plan fails, replace it with a new plan. 5. Keep working until success is achieved. 6. Rely on persistence and faith to carry you forward. He insists that no plan is perfect at first. Success comes through testing, failure, and refinement. Quote, "Plan your work and work your plan." Number 11. Success requires teamwork and vision. No one achieves anything worthwhile alone. Every great business, invention, or movement was built by people who shared a vision and worked together with harmony. He encourages you to build alliances, trust people, and lead with integrity. Quote, "No individual has sufficient experience, education, or knowledge to ensure great success without cooperation." Number 12. Planning transforms dreamers into doers. Hill closes the chapter with a powerful reminder. Ideas are worthless until organized into plans and acted upon. The transition from wishing to achieving happens the moment you write a plan and start working on it. Every great achievement started as a burning desire, turned into a definite purpose, backed by a concrete plan, fueled by faith and persistence. Quote, "Plan your work and work your plan." Key takeaways. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Modify plans, not goals. Persistence wins. Surround yourself with a mastermind team for ideas and support. Leadership requires courage, empathy, and
Chapter 8. Decision: The Mastery of Procrastination. Successful people reach decisions promptly and change them slowly, if at all. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly and often. This chapter is all about one powerful skill that separates winners from the rest: the ability to decide. Napoleon Hill spent 25 years studying 25,000 people, including 500 of the most successful individuals in America. He found one clear difference between the successful and the unsuccessful: decisiveness. 1. The power of decision. Every great achievement begins with a firm decision. Hill explains that most failures are caused by the habit of procrastination, putting off decisions until tomorrow. Quote, "Those who failed to make decisions promptly seldom accomplish anything." He says indecision is a silent killer of dreams. It steals energy, creates doubt, and weakens willpower. Successful people, on the other hand, decide quickly because they trust their own judgment and intuition. 2. How decision creates confidence. When you make a decision and stand by it, even when others doubt you, you strengthen your self-confidence. Each firm decision builds inner power. But when you delay or depend too much on others' opinions, you weaken your mind. Hill calls this mental disintegration, when your brain loses its clarity because of too many conflicting voices. Quote, "The world has the habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going." End quote. This means people naturally follow confident leaders who decide and act. 3. Fear, the enemy of decision. Hill identifies fear as the biggest reason people avoid making decisions. He lists 6 basic fears that cause procrastination. 1. The fear of poverty. 2. The fear of criticism. 3. The fear of ill health. 4. The fear of loss of love. 5. The fear of old age. 6. The fear of death. Among these, the fear of criticism is the strongest. Most people never act because they are too worried about what others will think. Quote, "Millions of men and women go through life in misery and poverty because they fear criticism." End quote. Hill says when you stop caring about other people's opinions, you unlock true freedom. 4. The courage to stand alone. Every person who has ever achieved greatness was once criticized, doubted, or ridiculed. Think of Thomas Edison, told he was too stupid to learn. Henry Ford, mocked for his horseless courage. Abraham Lincoln faced endless failures before success. Each of them had one thing in common: they made firm decisions and stood by them no matter what others said. Quote, "The greatest people in history were those who made up their minds to be what they wanted to be, and then refused to be influenced by criticism." End quote. 5. Decision
plus persistence equals success. Hill connects this chapter directly with the next one, persistence. He says decision is the spark that starts success, and persistence is the fuel that keeps it burning. Without decision, persistence has no direction. Without persistence, decision has no power. Quote, "The man who makes a decision and sticks with it is sure to succeed, because the world will eventually come around to his way of thinking." End quote. So the first step is to decide what you want, even before knowing how to get it. 6. The weakness of indecision. Hill says indecision is a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. The problem is, most people don't decide for themselves. They let others, family, friends, society decide what career, dreams, and lifestyle they should have. Quote, "If you are influenced by the opinions of others, you will have no desire of your own." End quote. He encourages readers to think for themselves. Independent thought is the foundation of freedom and success. 7. The secret of Andrew Carnegie's success. Hill reveals how Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, made decisions faster than anyone else. When he saw an opportunity, he would decide in minutes and commit fully. Others hesitated for weeks or months, waiting for the right moment. Carnegie once said, "I can buy any idea that is worth anything if it is backed by a sound plan and quick decision." The lesson is opportunity doesn't wait. Those who hesitate lose both time and chance. 8. How to develop the habit of decision. Hill provides a clear plan to train your brain for decisiveness. 1. Start small. Make daily decisions quickly: what to wear, what to eat, what task to start first. 2. Avoid overanalysis. Don't let analysis paralysis stop action. 3. Set deadlines for every major choice. 4. Trust your intuition. It improves through experience. 5. Act immediately once decided. 6. Accept responsibility. Even if it fails, you learn faster. Quote, "The man who cannot make a decision promptly cannot be depended upon to carry through any decision once made." End quote. 9. Decision creates power. Hill compares decision to electricity, invisible but capable of moving the world. When you decide, your mind sends a strong signal to the subconscious, which then begins attracting resources, people, and opportunities aligned with that goal. In other words, decision activates the law of attraction. But a mind that wavers, yes today, no tomorrow, confuses itself and gets nowhere. 10. How great leaders use decision. Every great leader, from business to politics, succeeded because of decisive vision. Napoleon Bonaparte made bold decisions without hesitation. Henry Ford refused to stop production of his Model T when others demanded change, until he decided the time was right. Mahatma Gandhi decided, unarmed, to fight the British Empire, and his clarity inspired millions. Quote, "Indecision is the seed of fear. Decision is the root of courage." End quote. The moment you decide, your fear begins to die. 11. Decision in your personal life. Hill challenges every reader to take one bold step. Write down what you've been putting off, a dream, a project, or a tough choice, and make a final decision today. Even if it feels uncomfortable, deciding will bring peace of mind and forward motion. He says, quote, "The man who does not decide for himself is doomed to be controlled by others who do." End quote. It's better to make a wrong decision and correct it than to make none. 12. Real-life examples from Hill's research. Hill gives examples from the lives of successful people who made fast, firm decisions. Henry Ford decided to continue producing the Model T despite everyone urging him to stop. He became a billionaire. Thomas Edison decided to invent the electric light bulb. After 10,000 failed experiments, he succeeded. F.W. Woolworth decided to open a 5-cent store. Everyone laughed, but he created a retail empire. Each success started from one moment of bold decision-making. 13. Decision versus opinion. Hill warns against confusing opinion with decision. Opinions change with emotion, gossip, or other people's influence. Decision is based on clarity of purpose and definite goal. If you keep changing your decisions because someone disagrees, you'll never move forward. Quote, "Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it by your actions." End quote. 14. The hidden benefit of decision. Decision gives you control over your destiny. When you learn to decide quickly and confidently, you take back power from circumstances. You stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path. Quote, "The man who makes his own decisions cannot be enslaved by others." End quote. This is how self-made people are created, through mental independence and courageous action. 15. Key lessons from Chapter 8.
Chapter 9. Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Genius will not. Education will not. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. This chapter is about the power of never giving up, the driving force behind all success. Napoleon Hill teaches that no matter how intelligent or talented you are, you cannot win without persistence. It is the invisible quality that transforms desire into its physical equivalent. Send and H2. The meaning of persistence. Persistence means continuing to move forward even when everything seems against you, when the plan fails, the money runs out, or others laugh at you. Hill says, the majority are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. In other words, most people quit too soon. Winners are those who keep going, not because success is easy, but because they refuse to stop. Persistence is the difference between wish and will. A wish is something you'd like to have. A will is something you'll fight for until you have it. And H2, the connection between desire and persistence. Hill emphasizes that persistence is born from desire. If your desire is weak, you'll give up easily. If your desire is burning, so strong that you can't stop thinking about it, persistence comes naturally. He says, if one does not possess persistence, one does not achieve noteworthy success in any calling. So the secret to developing persistence is not forcing yourself to work harder. It's making your dream so strong that you cannot imagine giving up. And H3, the common enemy, temporary defeat. Hill reminds us that defeat is not failure. It's just a temporary stop. He gives the famous story of R.U. Darby, the man who gave up 3 feet from gold. And H4, the 3 feet from gold story. Darby and his uncle discovered a gold vein in Colorado. After weeks of hard labor, they found gold, but soon the vein disappeared. They drilled more, found nothing, and quit. They sold their machinery to a junk dealer, who hired a mining engineer to check. The engineer found that the gold vein was just 3 feet away from where Darby had stopped digging. The junk dealer became rich. Darby learned the most important lesson of his life. I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I never stopped again. Later, Darby became a successful insurance salesman, applying the same lesson, never quitting after rejection. He said, "I learned to keep on digging." Hill uses this to show that most people fail not because of lack of skill, but because they quit too soon. End H5. How persistence is built. Persistence isn't something you're born with. It's a habit built through practice. Hill gives 4 simple steps to develop persistence. 1. Definite purpose. Know exactly what you want. Unclear goals, no motivation to persist. 2. Desire. Burn for your goal. Make it a necessity. Not "I'd like to," but "I must." 3. Self-reliance. Believe you can make it happen. Faith fuels persistence. 4. Definite plan. Create and adjust your plan until it works. Even the best plan will fail if you quit too soon. Hill says, persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. It strengthens your personality, builds discipline, and creates unshakable faith. And H6, the psychology of persistence. Hill says persistence is a state of mind, not just an action. When you persist, you reprogram your subconscious to expect victory. The subconscious then attracts circumstances that make success inevitable. That's why persistence and autosuggestion, Chapter 3, work hand in hand. The more you affirm your goal, the more your subconscious supports your persistence. And H7, the role of faith. Persistence and faith are inseparable. Faith gives you the belief that your efforts will pay off. Persistence keeps you working until they do. When faith and persistence combine, miracles happen. Think about inventors like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before success. Edison said, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work." And H8, the 8 factors that support persistence. Napoleon Hill lists 8 key elements that help build persistence. Number 1, definite purpose, clear knowing of what you want. Number 2, desire, burning obsession to achieve it. Number 3, self-reliance, belief in your own ability. Number 4, definiteness of plan, a written plan with flexibility. Number 5, accurate knowledge, knowing that your plan is workable. Number 6, cooperation, surrounding yourself with supportive people. Number 7, willpower, the habit of focusing on one thing. Number 8, habit. Repetition builds automatic persistence. Hill says, when these 8 combine, failure becomes impossible. And H9, the weakness of most people. Most people never finish what they start. They begin projects, relationships, or businesses, then give up at the first difficulty. Hill says this is why only 2% of people succeed. They are the ones who persist no matter what. He says, most people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. The weak give excuses. The strong find solutions. And H10, self-reflection exercise. Hill challenges you to analyze yourself honestly. Ask, do I give up easily when things go wrong? Do I change my goals often? Do I let failure discourage me? Do I depend too much on others' opinions? Do I take criticism personally? He says, persistence begins with self-awareness, knowing your weaknesses and attacking them directly. And H11, the law of compensation. Every act of persistence creates an invisible reward. Hill calls this nature's balancing law. Even if you don't succeed immediately, your effort is never wasted. Every time you keep going, you grow stronger, and that strength ensures future success. So, persistence is an investment that always pays off, even if the return is delayed. and H12, famous examples of persistence. Hill gives examples of great leaders who used persistence to change the world. Among them were Abraham Lincoln, who faced dozens of failures before becoming president; Henry Ford, who went broke 5 times before building Ford Motor Company; Thomas Edison, who failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb; Helen Keller, who despite being deaf and blind became a world-famous author and activist; F.W. Woolworth, who was told he was not fit for business but became a retail millionaire. Each of them refused to quit even when everyone told them to stop. And H13, persistence in business and life. Hill says persistence is the backbone of leadership. In business, persistence wins trust. People follow those who don't give up. In personal life, persistence keeps relationships, dreams, and self-belief alive. He says, there is no substitute for persistence. It cannot be replaced by talent, luck, or connections. And H14, the relationship between persistence and decision. Chapter 8, Decision, and Chapter 9, Persistence, are twins. Decision starts the journey, persistence finishes it. Decision without persistence leads to temporary enthusiasm. Persistence without decision leads to wasted energy. The magic happens when you combine both. Decide, persist, succeed. And H15, persistence and the subconscious mind. When you persist despite failure, your subconscious starts believing that quitting is not an option. Then it begins to attract new ideas, new people, and lucky breaks that match your determination. This is the law of attraction in action, but it only activates when your persistence proves your seriousness. He says, when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire future on one turn of the wheel, he is sure to win. And H16, the turning point, when persistence meets opportunity. Hill says there always comes a final test before success. It's the hardest point, where most people give up, right before the breakthrough. If you can hold on through that storm, success arrives suddenly. That's why
Chapter 10, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. The energy of sex can be transformed into creative power that leads to genius and success. Napoleon Hill begins this chapter by stating something that often surprises readers. The most powerful human emotion is sex desire. It is the driving force behind almost every human action, ambition, and achievement. But Hill does not talk about it in a physical or biological sense. He speaks of it as a form of energy, raw, creative, and transformative. He calls this process sex transmutation. The word transmute means to transform one form of energy into another. Just like electricity can be converted into light or motion, sexual energy, when directed correctly, can be converted into mental, spiritual, and creative energy that fuels genius and extraordinary success. The nature of sex energy. Sex energy is the most intense and compelling of all human emotions. It pushes people toward action, to create, to express, to attract, and to achieve. But many people waste this energy purely for physical pleasure. Hill says that the real secret of high achievers is that they learn how to redirect this powerful drive toward productive goals. He gives examples of great men, artists, inventors, leaders, and business tycoons who were known for their magnetic personality and unmatched creativity. They were often men with strong sexual nature, but they didn't suppress it. They transmuted it into ambition, artistic power, and charisma. Why transmutation is important. Hill explains that when this energy is not controlled, it leads to impulsive and destructive behavior. But when mastered, it becomes a source of superhuman drive and focus. He says that nature gives us this powerful force to ensure the continuation of life, but humans have the unique ability to channel it for something greater: invention, art, leadership, and wealth creation. It's not about repression, it's about redirection. Those who can transform this raw passion into creative energy reach genius-level performance in their field. How sex transmutation works. According to Hill, the process works like this. 1. The emotion of sex creates a powerful vibration in the human body. 2. When this energy is combined with positive emotions like love, enthusiasm, faith, or ambition, it raises the mind to a higher level of thought. 3. That elevated state opens the mind to inspiration, imagination, and intuition. 4. The person then begins to create ideas, art, wealth, or inventions at a higher level than ordinary people. Hill insists that some of the greatest achievements in history were born during moments of deep emotional intensity, whether love, heartbreak, passion, or devotion. These emotions open the door to the subconscious mind, allowing a person to access infinite intelligence. The connection between sex and the brain. When sex energy is properly directed, it stimulates brain activity and increases imagination, courage, and persistence. Hill observed that men often become more successful after marriage, not because of luck, but because love, companionship, and emotional harmony help them channel their sexual energy toward ambition. He even points out that many men accomplish their greatest work after the age of 40, when they learn to control and redirect this energy consciously. In youth, the same energy is often wasted in pursuit of pleasure rather than purpose. The role of love and romance. Hill beautifully connects love, romance, and sex as the three strongest emotions that, when blended, can lead to greatness. Love refines and purifies the emotion of sex. Romance adds warmth and beauty to it. Sex energy provides the drive and power. Together, they create an irresistible combination, one that inspires art, invention, leadership, and even spiritual growth. He says that love alone is not enough. Sex alone is destructive. But when the two are blended with romance, they create genius. This explains why people in love often feel more alive, creative, and unstoppable, because their emotional and sexual energies are in perfect alignment, working toward a greater purpose. The creative energy of genius. Hill defines genius not as someone born with superior intelligence, but as someone who can connect their conscious mind with the subconscious and infinite intelligence. Sex transmutation is one of the most effective ways to open that connection. When this energy is raised from the physical level to the mental and spiritual levels, it becomes creative imagination, the same force that gives birth to revolutionary ideas and achievements. He emphasizes that the mind becomes magnetized with this energy. It not only attracts ideas, but also people and circumstances that align with one's desire. In this way, sex energy can literally attract success. How to apply sex transmutation in real life. Hill suggests practical ways to harness this energy. 1. Acknowledge its power. Don't deny or feel guilty about it. Recognize it as a vital life force. 2. Control and redirect. Instead of indulging impulsively, focus that energy on your goals. Write, build, create, learn, or perform. 3. Cultivate love and emotional harmony. A stable, loving relationship helps refine this energy and maintain balance. 4. Engage imagination. Let this energy fuel your creative ideas and ambitions. 5. Avoid suppression. Repression leads to frustration and anxiety. Transmutation means consciously channeling it into productive outlets. He concludes that every successful person has developed this skill, whether knowingly or unknowingly. They radiate magnetism, confidence, and enthusiasm because their inner creative energy is constantly flowing in the right direction. Napoleon Hill's final message in this chapter. When driven by the emotion of sex, men become gifted with a superpower for action. They achieve things that they would never achieve otherwise. Hill wants readers to understand that this principle isn't about morality, it's about mental chemistry. Sex energy is creative energy, and when it is mixed with imagination, love, and faith, it becomes a force that can shape destiny. The greatest artists, inventors, and leaders throughout history, from Beethoven to Edison to Lincoln, were not just intelligent, they were emotionally alive and creatively driven. They had learned to transmute passion into purpose. In simple terms, raw sex energy becomes controlled passion, becomes focused creativity, becomes genius and success. That's the path Hill describes. Instead of wasting energy on temporary pleasure, one should channel it toward building something lasting, a business, invention, book, or legacy. Final thought. Sex transmutation, according to Hill, is the secret bridge between human desire and divine creativity. Those who understand it unlock an endless source of motivation, confidence, and genius, not by denying human nature, but by mastering it. Control your sexual energy. Do not let it control you. Transform it, and it will transform your life.
Chapter 11. The Subconscious Mind, the Connecting Link. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, through the power of the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill begins this chapter by introducing the subconscious mind as the intermediary between the conscious mind, the creative imagination, and infinite intelligence. He describes it as a fertile garden. It will grow whatever seeds you plant in it, whether they are positive or negative thoughts. This means that your subconscious mind doesn't judge or reason, it simply accepts whatever thoughts you feed it and works tirelessly to make them real. Your entire success, failure, happiness, or misery depends on the kind of thoughts that dominate your mind. The subconscious mind never sleeps. Hill explains that the subconscious mind is always active, day and night. Even while you're asleep, it's processing ideas, emotions, and vibrations. Every single thought, word, and emotion you experience gets recorded in it. And these impressions form the belief system that determines how you act, what you attract, and how you respond to the world. That's why Hill calls it the servant of the conscious mind. Your conscious mind gives orders in the form of thoughts and emotions, and your subconscious mind executes those orders without question. How thoughts become reality. Hill presents a simple but life-changing formula. 1. Your thoughts, ideas, goals, fears, and emotions are impressed on the subconscious mind. 2. The subconscious mind translates those thoughts into their physical equivalent using the laws of attraction, vibration, and energy. 3. It then connects with infinite intelligence, the universal mind, to manifest the result. In simpler terms, what you repeatedly think and feel becomes your reality. This is why repeating affirmations or visualizing your goals works. You're feeding your subconscious with clear images and emotions, which it then works on silently until those goals begin to appear in your life. The language of the subconscious, emotion.
Hill emphasizes that the subconscious doesn't respond to logic or reasoning. It only responds to emotion. Emotion is the fuel that powers the subconscious. If your goals are charged with passion, love, enthusiasm, or faith, the subconscious accepts them immediately. But if your thoughts are filled with fear, doubt, or anger, it will manifest negative experiences. That's why Hill constantly says, faith and emotion are essential. Your belief system, not your intellect, controls your outcomes. You can't trick your subconscious with fake affirmations unless you truly feel them emotionally. Positive emotions versus negative emotions. Hill identifies 7 major positive emotions that can help you program your subconscious for success. 1. Desire. 2. Faith. 3. Love. 4. Sex, creative energy. 5. Enthusiasm. 6. Romance. 7. Hope. And the 7 major negative emotions that can destroy success. 1. Fear. 2. Jealousy. 3. Hatred. 4. Revenge. 5. Greed. 6. Superstition. 7. Anger. The subconscious mind can't hold both types at the same time. It's your responsibility to feed it only positive emotions. If you don't consciously fill it with positive thoughts, it will absorb negativity by default from the environment, people, and media around you. Connecting with infinite intelligence. Hill says the subconscious mind acts as a spiritual gateway, connecting the human mind with the universal mind or infinite intelligence. Whenever you deeply desire something, and you mix that desire with emotion and faith, the subconscious sends that vibration into the universe. Infinite intelligence then responds by guiding you toward ideas, opportunities, and people that help you fulfill that desire. This is why some people call it intuition, gut feeling, or divine guidance. In reality, it's your subconscious mind transmitting and receiving signals of thought energy. The power of autosuggestion. This chapter is closely linked to Chapter 3, Autosuggestion, because autosuggestion is the method by which you program the subconscious mind. When you repeatedly say affirmations, visualize your goals, or feel gratitude, you are using autosuggestion to impress your desires onto the subconscious. Over time, these thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior, leading you toward the reality you imagined. Hill says, your subconscious mind takes any order given to it in a spirit of absolute faith and acts on those orders, although the orders may often have to be presented over and over again. So, repetition and emotional intensity are the keys. Why you must guard your mind. Hill warns that the subconscious mind is vulnerable. It doesn't filter information. Whatever enters it repeatedly becomes truth for you. That's why negative self-talk, fear-based media, or toxic people can harm you even when you don't realize it. You start believing their ideas, and your subconscious starts manifesting them. Therefore, you must act as the watchman at the gate of your mind. Reject negative thoughts as soon as they appear. Replace them instantly with thoughts of faith, abundance, love, and gratitude. How to train the subconscious mind. Hill provides a simple daily practice that connects your goals with your subconscious programming. 1. Before sleeping and after waking, read your definite Chief Am aloud. 2. Visualize yourself already in possession of your goal. 3. Feel the joy and pride as if it's already yours. 4. Repeat this daily with complete faith and consistency. 5. Keep your mind free from fear and doubt throughout the day. By doing this, you are giving your subconscious clear orders with emotional clarity. It will start attracting people, ideas, and circumstances to make it real. Faith plus emotion equals subconscious activation. Hill writes that the subconscious mind is most easily influenced when your mind is in a state of faith or love. That's why prayers, affirmations, and gratitude are powerful. They align your energy with infinite intelligence. When you say, "I can and I will," with genuine emotion, your subconscious doesn't argue. It starts working immediately to find ways to make it happen. The subconscious and physical health. Hill also connects the subconscious mind with physical health. He says that many illnesses are born from negative emotions and chronic worry. On the other hand, feelings of peace, joy, and confidence strengthen the immune system and create harmony in the body. This concept, now supported by modern science, was revolutionary at his time. In short, your body obeys your mind. If your subconscious believes you are strong and healthy, your body will act accordingly. The master key: control your inner world. Hill concludes that mastering the subconscious mind is the master key to success and happiness. Everything you desire, money, love, health, peace, starts within your own thoughts. You don't need luck or external help. You need self-discipline over your mind. Train it to think only of what you want, never of what you fear. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because you have the power to control your thoughts. That's the ultimate message of this chapter. In simple summary: concept, meaning. Subconscious mind, the link between your thoughts and the universe. Works through emotion, faith, and repetition. Feeds on positive or negative thoughts. Controls your habits, health, behavior, and destiny. Can be programmed by autosuggestion and visualization. Goal: fill it with faith, love, and purpose to attract success. Final thought. Napoleon Hill ends this chapter by reminding us that the subconscious mind is the silent partner in every great achievement. It never argues, it never sleeps, it only delivers what you believe. Your subconscious mind is the seat of the power that transforms your desire into its physical equivalent. So think carefully, because whatever you emotionally and repeatedly believe will soon become your life.
Chapter 12. The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. Every human brain is both a transmitter and a receiver of thought vibrations. Napoleon Hill opens this chapter with a bold and fascinating statement. Your brain is not just an organ that stores memories or processes logic. It is a living machine that sends and receives energy waves called thoughts. He compares the human brain to a radio station, which can broadcast and receive signals through the ether, the invisible energy that fills space. In the same way, your brain sends out vibrations of thought, and at the same time, it is sensitive to vibrations coming from other brains. That's how people tune into each other's feelings, ideas, and moods, sometimes even without speaking. The brain as a transmitter. When you concentrate intensely on a thought, especially one filled with emotion and desire, your brain increases its vibrational frequency. Those vibrations radiate outward, and people who are tuned to a similar mental frequency can receive and respond to them. Hill explains that faith, love, and sex are the three strongest emotions that increase the brain's power to transmit. These emotions create high-frequency vibrations, while negative emotions, like fear and anger, lower the vibration and block the signal. That's why enthusiastic, passionate, and confident people often influence others easily. Their minds broadcast powerful emotional energy that others can feel. The brain as a receiver. Hill says that your brain not only broadcasts thoughts, but also receives vibrations from other people's brains and from infinite intelligence. This happens mostly when your mind is calm, open, and in harmony with positive emotions like faith and love.
He suggests that many of the world's greatest discoveries, inventions, and inspirations came to people during moments of deep concentration, meditation, or emotion, because their minds were in tune with the universal source of ideas. In other words, genius is often the result of a perfectly tuned mental frequency that connects a person to infinite intelligence. The sending and receiving mechanism. According to Hill, the mechanism of the brain works like this. 1. The conscious mind creates thought vibrations based on what you're thinking, desiring, and believing. 2. The subconscious mind acts as the connecting link. It amplifies those vibrations with emotion and belief. 3. The brain transmits those vibrations into the universe and, simultaneously, receives vibrations of similar nature. This is how the law of attraction operates on a mental and spiritual level. Your brain attracts thoughts, people, and opportunities that match your dominant frequency. So if your mind is filled with faith, optimism, and purpose, you'll attract circumstances that align with success. But if it's filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, you'll attract more of the same. Tuning the brain to infinite intelligence. Hill introduces the idea that infinite intelligence, the source of all knowledge and inspiration, is available to everyone. But to connect with it, your brain must be properly tuned. How do you tune it? By combining faith, love, and sex energy, the same trio mentioned in the previous chapters. These emotions lift your thoughts to higher frequencies where they can connect with infinite intelligence. This is why creative ideas often come suddenly, almost magically, when you're emotionally inspired, whether in love, passion, or deep faith. Your mind has temporarily connected to a higher plane of consciousness. The mastermind group. In this chapter, Hill revisits the concept of the mastermind, introduced earlier. He explains that when two or more minds come together in harmony, focusing on a definite purpose, their brain vibrations combine and create a higher frequency of thought. This combined energy forms a kind of third mind, which is more powerful than any individual mind alone. That's why teams, partnerships, and mastermind groups often produce ideas and results far beyond what one person could achieve. When a group of minds coordinate in the spirit of harmony, each mind tunes in to the energy of the others. This is not just cooperation, it's mental chemistry. Emotions as amplifiers. Hill emphasizes again that emotion is the fuel that makes your brain's broadcasting and receiving system work. Without emotion, thoughts are weak. They lack energy to travel far or attract anything meaningful. Faith gives your thought clarity and direction. Love gives it warmth and harmony. Sex energy gives it intensity and magnetic force. When these three emotions mix, they create a supercharged mental vibration that can influence people, attract opportunities, and connect you to infinite intelligence. That's why leaders, artists, and visionaries all have one thing in common. They radiate emotional power. Their brains are like strong transmitters, constantly broadcasting success, confidence, and inspiration. Thought as energy. Hill explains that every thought you think is a form of energy, and energy can never be destroyed, only transformed. When you think, you send waves of energy into the universe that affect others and attract similar waves back to you. He even suggests that thoughts of fear and poverty create negative energy that attract more hardship, while thoughts of abundance and courage attract wealth and success. This is why it's crucial to guard your mental broadcast. You are always sending something. Make sure it's what you want to receive. May plus B equals infinite intelligence. Hill introduces a formula for connecting with infinite intelligence. May stands for meditation and prayer. B stands for belief or faith. Hill suggests that when you combine contemplation with deep faith, your mind tunes into the vibrations of infinite intelligence. This is why many spiritual leaders and many artistic geniuses practice some form of meditation or deep contemplation. It helps them tune out the noise of the everyday world and tune into the source of inspiration. Developing a highly sensitive mind. To become a more powerful transmitter and receiver, Hill recommends 1. Keep your mind calm and peaceful. A disturbed or fearful mind blocks intuition. 2. Practice emotional awareness. Channel your energy toward love, gratitude, and purpose. 3. Visualize your goals clearly. The clearer your mental picture, the stronger your broadcast. 4. Associate with positive people. Their vibrations will strengthen yours. 5. Meditate or reflect daily. Quiet time helps you tune your brain to infinite intelligence. The more you practice these, the more intuitive, creative, and magnetic you become. Modern science and Hill's vision. Although Hill wrote this book in the early 20th century, his ideas were prophetic. Modern neuroscience now confirms that the human brain emits measurable electromagnetic waves, and that emotions deeply affect these frequencies. Similarly, psychology recognizes the power of mirror neurons, which help humans sense others' emotions and energy. What Hill described in spiritual terms, science now observes as quantum communication and brainwave synchronization. This shows how timeless and visionary his insights were. In simple words, Hill's message is this: your brain is a living magnet. It sends out what you feel and think most often, and it attracts back the same kind of energy. You can't send out fear and expect abundance, nor can you send out hate and expect love. To create success, you must think success, feel success, and broadcast success until it becomes your natural state. In summary, concept, explanation. Brain, a transmitter and receiver of thought energy. Works through vibration and emotion. Key emotions, faith, love, and sex energy. Broadcasts, your dominant thoughts. Receives, thoughts from others and from infinite intelligence. Mastermind, amplifies mental vibrations through harmony. Goal, tune your brain to higher frequencies of success and inspiration. Final thought. Napoleon Hill concludes the chapter with a timeless truth. Through the medium of the ether, in a manner unknown to man, every human brain is capable of picking up the vibrations of thought being released by other brains. That means your mind is part of something much bigger, a
Chapter 13. The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. 1. The brain as a vibrational machine. Napoleon Hill begins by explaining that the human brain is one of the most powerful machines ever created. It works both as a transmitting and receiving station for thoughts. Just as radio waves can be transmitted and received, thoughts, too, have vibrational frequencies. Every time you think intensely, your brain sends out these vibrations, which can be picked up by other brains that are tuned to the same frequency. Every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. This means that thoughts are energy, and that energy never goes wasted. It connects, attracts, and communicates with similar energies around you. 2. The power of collective thinking. Hill says that when two or more minds come together with the same purpose, their thought vibrations combine and form a much stronger frequency.
This is the foundation of his earlier principle, the mastermind alliance. For example, when a group of people brainstorm or work toward a common goal with emotional harmony, they tap into an invisible intelligence far greater than any one individual. Great business leaders, inventors, and geniuses often used this principle by surrounding themselves with strong, like-minded people. Collective thought equals amplified power. 3. The subconscious and the brain connection. The subconscious mind plays a vital role in how thoughts are broadcasted and received. Hill explains that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between your conscious mind, your sixth sense, and infinite intelligence. Every thought charged with emotion, faith, love, enthusiasm, sends stronger vibrations. The emotion acts like fuel, multiplying the brain's broadcasting power. Therefore, emotionally charged thoughts, positive or negative, can deeply influence your life and also impact others around you. Infinite intelligence, the source of all ideas. Hill introduces the idea of infinite intelligence, a universal force or network that connects every mind in existence. When your mind is tuned through faith, focus, and emotional energy, it can tap into this vast intelligence to receive new ideas, inspiration, and solutions that seem to come from nowhere. The great geniuses, artists, inventors, and leaders are those who have learned how to connect their minds with infinite intelligence. Examples: Thomas Edison often mentioned that his best ideas came to him rather than being consciously thought of. Nikola Tesla claimed he could visualize entire inventions in his mind before building them. This connection is what Hill refers to as the creative imagination working at its highest frequency. 5. The role of the emotions. Hill emphasizes again that emotion is the activator of thought vibration. He divides emotions into two categories: positive emotions, faith, love, enthusiasm, hope, desire, and romance. These connect your brain to higher frequencies and attract success, inspiration, and harmony. Negative emotions, fear, anger, jealousy, hatred, and revenge. These tune your brain to lower frequencies, attracting negativity, failure, and confusion. Your dominant emotional state determines what your brain broadcasts most of the time. You cannot broadcast success while your mind is tuned to fear. 6. The secret to tuning your brain. Napoleon Hill gives practical advice to control and enhance your thought frequencies. 1. Control your mental environment. Avoid negative influences, toxic media, or pessimistic people. 2. Focus your thoughts on what you desire, not on what you fear. 3. Charge your thoughts with positive emotions, faith, love, enthusiasm. 4. Meditate or visualize daily to align your brain with your goals. 5. Work in harmony with others, the mastermind principle, to amplify mental energy. 7. The law of attraction in action. Although Hill doesn't call it the law of attraction directly, this chapter clearly introduces that concept. He explains that thoughts are magnetic, attracting similar thoughts, people, and circumstances. So when you think rich, act rich, and feel rich, you begin attracting wealth. When you think fearfully or doubtfully, you attract failure. Your brain literally broadcasts your inner world to the universe, which responds in kind. 8. Modern understanding of Hill's concept. Even though written in the 1930s, modern neuroscience supports many of Hill's insights. The brain emits measurable electrical waves, EEG. Emotional intensity affects the strength of neural activity. Mirror neurons and emotional contagion explain how people pick up each other's feelings. Hill's message was far ahead of his time. The brain truly is a vibrational, energetic organ. 9. Summary of the chapter. Key concept: brain as transmitter and receiver. Thoughts are energy vibrations that can be sent and received. Collective thinking power. When multiple minds unite, mental energy multiplies. Emotion as fuel. Strong emotions intensify thought vibrations. Infinite intelligence. A universal source of ideas and inspiration. Positive tuning. Faith, desire, and love raise thought frequency. Negative tuning. Fear, anger, and doubt lower thought frequency. Application: think, feel, and act as if you already possess success. 10. Final takeaway. Napoleon Hill ends the chapter by reminding readers that your brain is a magnet. It attracts whatever you think about most often and with the strongest emotion. If you tune your brain to success, faith, and gratitude, you connect yourself to the infinite intelligence that guides all great minds. Your thoughts become your reality. Every thought you release, good or bad, is a vibration that sets the universe in motion.
Chapter 14. The Sixth Sense. The Door to the Temple of Wisdom. Introduction. The Unknown Sense. Napoleon Hill begins by describing the sixth sense as the door to the temple of wisdom. It is not something you can consciously control or train like your other five senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Instead, it's a higher mental faculty that operates only when your other principles, like desire, faith, imagination, and subconscious mind, are developed and working in harmony. Quote, "Through the sixth sense, infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily, without any effort or demands by the individual. This sense is your connection to the infinite, a bridge between your conscious mind and universal intelligence." Unquote. What is the sixth sense? Hill explains that the sixth sense is a blend of imagination, intuition, and inspiration that manifests as sudden ideas, hunches or gut feelings, flashes of insight, dreams or visions, spontaneous guidance in moments of decision. It's the way that infinite intelligence, or the universal mind, communicates directly with you. Quote, "The sixth sense defies description. It cannot be described to a person who has not mastered the other principles of this philosophy." Unquote. This sense develops automatically when you live positively, use faith, and practice the 13 principles he has taught throughout the book. The sixth sense and infinite intelligence. The infinite intelligence is the unseen force or divine source that governs the universe and connects all minds. When your conscious and subconscious mind are harmonized through the earlier principles, like desire, faith, autosuggestion, imagination, and so forth, your mind becomes receptive to infinite intelligence. This is when inspired ideas begin to appear, sometimes when you least expect them. For example, a business idea that suddenly feels right, a decision that feels guided by intuition, a warning that saves you from danger, a new creative idea that seems to come from nowhere. Hill calls this state the creative imagination at its highest level. The Council of Invisible Guides. Napoleon Hill shares a fascinating personal story, how he created an imaginary, invisible council of historical figures that he admired. He would visualize sitting around a table with great minds like Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Bonaparte, Charles Darwin, and George Washington.
During these mental meetings, he would ask for guidance, advice, or insight from each of them, imagining their distinct personalities and wisdom. Though imaginary, Hill says that over time, the ideas, inspirations, and warnings that came from these meetings felt real and powerful. So much so that he believed infinite intelligence was using this practice to send him ideas through his sixth sense. Quote, "Through the aid of the sixth sense, I was able to commune with the great minds of the past and gain from them knowledge that I could not have obtained otherwise." Unquote. The sixth sense and the mastermind connection. Hill links this chapter back to the mastermind principle, saying that the sixth sense operates most strongly when you are surrounded by people who elevate your thinking. When two or more minds work in harmony, a third higher intelligence emerges, and it's through that connection that the sixth sense can express itself more clearly. This is why geniuses, leaders, and visionaries often rely on instinct or intuition. They are unknowingly guided by this higher intelligence through the sixth sense. Quote, "Sometimes, rather than you imagine it, let your intuition guide you." Unquote. How to develop the sixth sense. Napoleon Hill emphasizes that the sixth sense cannot be forced. It must be earned through mental discipline and consistent practice of the earlier principles. He gives a few steps to encourage its awakening. 1. Master the previous 12 principles, especially desire, faith, and imagination. These principles purify your mind and make it receptive to higher thought. 2. Trust your intuition. The sixth sense speaks softly, through hunches, inner feelings, or sudden ideas. Learn to recognize them. 3. Create mental stillness. The sixth sense functions best when your conscious mind is calm, through meditation, quiet reflection, or solitude. 4. Stay emotionally balanced. Positive emotions attract inspiration, while negative emotions block it. 5. Act on inspired ideas. When you receive a strong intuitive thought, test it through action. Often, you'll find it leads you towards success. The sixth sense in business and success. Hill explains that many of the greatest leaders and innovators, knowingly or unknowingly, relied on this faculty. Henry Ford used it to make bold decisions in uncertain times. Thomas Edison depended on intuitive flashes for inventions. Andrew Carnegie trusted his gut in financial moves. They were all tapping into the same universal intelligence through their sixth sense. There comes to your aid at times, through the sixth sense, a guardian angel who opens to you at will the door to the temple of wisdom. Overcoming fear to access the sixth sense. Fear is the greatest block to intuition. Hill revisits his earlier point. Fear closes the mind, while faith opens it. To develop the sixth sense, you must replace fear with faith. Eliminate negative emotions. Stay confident that infinite intelligence is guiding you toward your purpose. When the mind is relaxed and fearless, inspiration flows naturally. The sixth sense as spiritual guidance. While Hill keeps his language practical and not religious, this chapter is deeply spiritual. He suggests that the sixth sense is the spiritual faculty that allows humans to receive divine direction. It's what connects you to infinite intelligence, the source of all knowledge, creativity, and guidance. Through this channel, you can receive warnings about danger, you can get insights that lead to success, you can feel inner peace and confidence about your path. Quote, "When you are prepared to receive, infinite intelligence will place ideas and plans in your mind through the sixth sense." Unquote. Summary of Chapter 14. Sixth sense, description. a higher faculty that allows direct communication with infinite intelligence. Invisible counsel. Description: Hill's visualization technique to tap into wisdom from great minds. Creative imagination. Description: the medium through which ideas, hunches, and inspiration flow. Faith over fear. Description: fear blocks intuition, while faith strengthens it. Intuitive guidance. Description: the sixth sense helps make right decisions beyond logic. Spiritual channel. Description: connection between the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the infinite. Final takeaway. Napoleon Hill concludes by saying that once the sixth sense becomes active, you will never again be truly alone or uncertain. You'll feel that there is a higher power guiding your thoughts, decisions, and destiny. Quote, through the sixth sense, you will be warned of dangers in time to avoid them, and you will be guided into opportunities too good to miss. Unquote. The sixth sense is the culmination of all other principles in Think and Grow Rich. It represents the highest level of human potential. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with infinite intelligence to manifest success and wisdom.